ain't no game. This that CSZ game. They said pull up, so I came. You better put some respect on their name. Yeah, 55, what's goody? Kill the vibe, how could it? Big Cardinal on the hoodie. Let me break it down for you fully. This ain't your average broadcast. This ain't just no podcast. The mother shows spread fake news. We just call them broadcast. West, Joey, Sam, Shawn, Dante. Ain't you know that boy Higgy? He said he don't want no small fries. Tell them they better make them biggie. Yeah, you already know what we be on. We got the crown, we hold the throne. We throw the mails and you take them on. When they ring the bells, you know that it's home. The bar set, we setting the tone. If we set it, then set it in stone. Sit in the seat, set up your phone. You in the Cardinal sports zone.
What is up, everybody? Yeah, Shawn's automatically already just shaking his head, and it's not because he got home and his date didn't show up. He didn't have one to begin with. Pretty tough day on the field, on the court-wise for us here in Cardination. But all in all, as long as we're all still breathing, and I know y'all are like, man, Jeremy, shut up. It sucked, and it did. But we do want to welcome you. We're coming to you live from the Fitness Market Studios North. This is the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. What's up, Rodney? I'm your host, Jeremy Wallman. We wanted to do a quick Friday night show because, well, quite frankly, we don't want to be drugged down by negativity all day tomorrow. And if we do our show tomorrow, then we're going to be feeling some type of way about these losses. So it's better to just go ahead, get them out of the way now. Let me open up the chat room. I love that. I appreciate you, Michelle. I appreciate you. Average Honky. I love Average Honky. I don't know Average Honky, but I love him. What's up, Fred? What is up, everybody? So let me get through the spiel, and we'll just go ahead and talk. I don't plan to be on here for a long time tonight unless y'all want to talk longer. I'm on y'all's time. Y'all tell me when to clock out. Chat lines open, yada, yada, yada. The way you can support us by following us on social media is underneath Shawn's beard. And I think Higgy and Sydney rode around all summer in his Jeep going to fast food places. Jesus Christ, Steve.
God.
It's terrible. The way to support us monetarily is underneath my chin. So you can do that. Shout us out on Twitter when y'all are talking about how much you love me. Y'all always tag me, but you don't tag the show. And then I can't retweet it because then it looks like it's all about me, which it really is. Don't tell Shawn. But yeah, just tag Cardinal Sports Zone on Twitter. Don't forget to hit that like button while y'all are here. All right, let's jump on in. I don't have a script written for tonight, Shawn, because it was just like, what would the script read? Heartbreak, heartbreak, heartbreak. It is what it is. Let me go ahead and read some of these. What's up, Terry? Read some of this stuff on the side over here. Again, Average Honky said, man, listen, I know we won 4 straight, but no need for Clemson to rush the field. We weren't even ranked. I'm hoping I detect a little sarcasm there. Michelle says, I'm in here to support, but my mood is not good right now. I love and support my teams always. I trust Kenny Payne. Look, you support me too, and I appreciate and love you for that, my friend. Fred says, what's up, good people? Kyler says, tough day for Cardination. We'll be all right. And we will be all right. At the end of the day, look, I got into it a little bit on Twitter with one of my followers. He used to be known as Damon L1C4, but his tweets were so outlandish, he had to change his Twitter name because people were attacking him. And I let him get to me a little bit, and then I just stopped responding to him. So I took the Michelle method there and just breathe in, breathe out. James says, hopefully not a long show because I got to complete my video tweets, ACC. My fingers hurt. For sure. Only heartbreak was basketball. Football was expected. Don't like Kenny not wanting to use. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second because I do agree with you a little bit. Wasn't a big Sat fan at the beginning of the season, but I got to say he's won me over always after the loss. Daniel, what's up, Daniel? He said he's going to listen when he gets home. Well, good for you. Don't listen now. Yeah, let's start off with the first off, shout out to the women's volleyball team going on the road to a top 15 team and getting down early. They were down, well, not shout out for them getting down early, obviously. They were down 2-0 and came back and Man, Claire, is it Chazot or I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Charisse?
I think it's
you need to start pronouncing it. However it's spelled, you need to start pronouncing it baller, because in 2 straight games, she set her career high for kills, and she's just shout out to her. I want to get the positive out of the way before we start just pissing and moaning, which it's okay. Look, it's okay to complain as long as you know how to do it the correct way. I'm still on the fence with Sad. If he loses to Kentucky, man, they suck. Positive. All right. Yeah. 27 kills yesterday, and I think her high before was 24, and she beat that the game before with like 25. J-Mo, what's good? My man, my big whole VW me. I agree we need to beat UK this season. They look like poop water. I agree. And I hope next week's game against NC State to me is a toss-up. I thought we would win it handedly, no pun intended. But there's no way Malik can play. I mean, I don't have any inside information there, but he can't play next week. So then you have him fresh for that team down the road. I do think there are built-in excuses now, though. If we fall flat on our face the rest of the season, Sat can be like, well, look, and rightfully so. I mean, you don't think you're going 3-0 to finish the season with any quarterback there other than Malik. Michelle says positive. I've seen improvement in the basketball team. The football teams are fighters. Negatives, fans expecting the KP to press the button and have a team full of 5 stars and winning every game by 75. Absolutely. And look, this defense didn't give up all night. This defense still leading the NCAA in turnovers forced. Just had a couple of bad breaks team-wise, and then we had 3 or 4 bad breaks referee-wise. So Dwayne says, what's good, Card family? If it was any of the last 3, I would take this loss on the shoulder and move on to 8-4. We can do it. Yeah. NC State will be tough. I agree with you. Fred agrees with Dwayne. The B1 family likes Brock. I like him too. That offensive line is not built for Brock. If that makes it makes it make a little more sense. Brock did wonderful against Virginia, but Virginia's D-line was doo-doo. So, of course, he looked like a rock star. But even today, he had trouble against the first team Clemson defense. It wasn't until they put their backups in before he had a little bit of success. I think they played with a lot of heart, especially the defense. I agree with you, JMO. Steve says our offensive line don't know how to block the blitz. Feels like they did the rest of the season. I don't know what's going on. Average Honky says the last play of the half was not smart by Malik. He was already injured, and Clemson wanted to exploit that. Absolutely. Had a bunch of people on Twitter saying, we should have kicked the 58-yard field goal. Wow, so they could – look, we already know how things go down there. Our luck would have been we would have kicked it, they would have received it, and they would have ran it back, and the game would have been over with sooner than it was. The story is the offense, they just haven't been good enough all year. Defense has been covering it up, so they played so well. The offense was getting better every game, and it's not – I just think with Clemson, that team's got the best offense and defensive line in our conference. So I think that makes it – we're not where we thought we were going to be with Clemson. There's no doubt about that. I thought we were closer. Everybody on the website picked Clemson to win by 10 or less, except for me because I'm the dummy that thought we'd beat them by 10. So that's it's just unfortunate every time. And now we don't play them next year because of the realignment of the conference stuff. So it's going to be a couple of years before we get our vengeance on that. I don't complain about refs, but they need to go back to Clemson's refs. They're probably all Dabo's brother-in-laws. James Allen says, if I'm KP, I start the next film session with tape of the Louisville women's basketball team running up and down the court. They even block out on rebounds. I went to find a clipboard to throw myself. AH says Clemson's D-line was making our O-line look silly out there. I agree with that too. It was just once Malik got hurt, we were all sitting here at the house watching the game, and that's when it felt like the second half was not going to go the way we wanted it to go. What was the score at halftime, Shawn? 17-7?
Yes.
and then it ended up being 31-16. So what is that? We got 9 points in the second half, and they got 17? No, 14. So they still only outscored us 14-9 in a vulnerable part of the game where we could have just packed it up and let it go. And I'm proud of them. Even that last second touchdown we hit at the buzzer, apropos seeing that we lost the game earlier in the day at the buzzer, just shows that they're not quitters like we've seen here in the past. Steve says, shout out to the defense. The 2 big run plays was about it. I'm eating my crow because they have balled out since the BC game. For sure. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed, says Rito. I can see that. But you're also not the type of person to be like, I'm disappointed. Fire everybody. Everybody's butt water, like some of the people on Twitter are. Jeremy, probably need to talk about one game at a time. We are all over the place. Yeah, that's why. Because it's very likely that we do not have Malik for the next game. I mean, if he hurt his shoulder on top of his hand, is there a possibility he's done for the rest of the regular season?
Mm-hmm.
You got to think there's a chance. I mean, we don't know how severe the shoulder was. So, yeah, let's pump our brakes. I mean, we could just as easily lose these last 3 games, which is what the nightmare scenario we had all talked about than anything. But at the end of the day, we turned it around during the season. We beat several teams that were ranked this year. We turned it around. I truly believe that we turned it around. AH says, well, there were sparks in the second half until Evans had that open field fumble that basically sealed the game. That's kind of how we felt here too. Rito said the defense did more than enough to win that game. Yeah, they did. Brenda says, how come KP's catching all this heat over the transfer portal and Satterfield has had 4 years to get a backup quarterback and get a pass? Well, here's the thing, Brandon. And I don't want this to be true. And I know Rito and Michelle are like, oh, no, what's Jeremy about to say? The reason why KP's not getting the same chances that Satterfield is, I fully and truly believe, is because KP is not Caucasian. If you were a Caucasian coach, they'd be like, let it all. And you may not feel the same way, and that's fine. I'm not forcing you to feel the same way as I feel. But I truly believe what's any other excuse? Satterfield has not shown in 4 years the 3 years prior to this year that he can make any adjustments and changes and we could be any different than we have been. KP has coached 2 games that we have lost by a total combined 2 points. So, I mean, it's got a lot of the guys on Twitter that didn't want him for that reason. They were throwing out Nate Oates and Musselman and Greg Popovich and everybody. But when KP was mentioned, it was like, wait a minute, no. He may have had 42 straight number 1 recruiting classes, but he ain't good enough to coach here. So that's my feeling on that. Again, I could be wrong. What's up, Ant? What's up, Brent? What's up, Diane? Sorry, trying to say hi to everybody. But that's how I feel. Aaron's mad at the refs, happy with the effort. I am happy with the effort. The refs did cost us. I still feel like we intercepted that pass on the first drive of the game. Honestly, Malik shouldn't have been in this game. No, but he refused to sit out. I can't tell you any more than that. They wanted him to sit. He refused to sit. Brandon says our defense has gotten better, but those wins are not looking as nice. Wake Forest is on a big slide. But so you can't do that, though, because at the time they were the 10th best team in the country. Pittsburgh was the 18th best team in the country. Like you can't just take James Madison was ranked in the top 20 as well. You can't take those wins away just because they're not doing good now. They were doing really good when we played them. James says Doman throws the 50-50 ball to T. Huddy more to give him a chance. Malik rarely does it. Malik throws 9 out of every 10 passes to T. Huddy.
I think he means something like on.
The jump ball like on the sideline?
Yeah.
You know why,
where he can
Shawn,
make a play on.
James, you know why? Because he's about to get sacked and he throws it up. He's running for his life. He's like, I don't think that's by design. I think that's out of necessity.
because Malik won't even try. Like, he'll stand there, hold it.
Well, no, because he can run. No,
Yeah.
they're not ready for that conversation. Brandon says it's because he's a black man. I agree with you. I'm not saying it's completely for that reason, but that's got a big part to do with it.
It's also an inexperience because he wasn't a head coach. Like, all the guys you named are head coaches and we know what they can kind of do and kind of not. We didn't know what he could do. But there's obviously, let's be honest, we know there's people they're like.
Look, Rito said, "Oh, bleep." Jeremy said the quiet part out loud about KP. Dang. Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid to say what I feel. Chris says no quarterback is going to transfer in to sit behind Malik. No, we saw that the last few years. He's had 4 years to recruit QBs out of high school, Chris. Michelle said it's the pink elephant in the room, Jeremy. There's no other reason, and that's sad. That's what makes it more sad to me that you see people hating on him. How to say this without it's coming out the wrong way, that are more like him than I am, if that makes sense. I don't want to just come out and say it, but like I see other people that just like try to hold him down when they should be lifting him up. It's just crazy. Fabian says, not a good day for our Cards. Brent says the coaches have no control over the team. I don't know which team you're talking about. JMO says, I can forgive all this if we leave us for 60 minutes and make him eat every one of those L's down he threw up last year for sure. That pass interference call we got needs to be investigated. There's plenty of calls that should be investigated.
How you miss a face mask? I mean, my guy's the same as that play we got called for. Guy coming through middle of the line, middle of the field on a running play, gets grabbed by a face mask. One of our linemen got called for it on Shipley. And then Jahar Jordan gets the exact same thing, and they don't call. And his was even more egregious. Like, he got his head turned all the way around.
Brent, just to touch on that, Brent, it's more of a competitive time. I can't tell you how many times that I've saw just flat out competitors, which is what you want on the field, say, no, I'm playing. It's not as bad as y'all think it is. And then it is. Brandon says, same token, we shouldn't claim UCF as a top 25 win when they weren't ranked to start the season. That's fair. I mean, they are now, and it's not to take anything from the team. I just think we need to see how things shake out by the end of the year. Roderick says Withers is looking good and BHH is getting there. I agree with that. We'll talk about basketball in a minute. People talk about – I'm going to read all these off first, though. People talk about the transfer portal, but Kenny had no chance because kids felt like we were going to be on probation. That had a huge thing. That had a bigger part to do with the recruiting than and I've told you all that a couple times now. They were negative recruiting against us a lot. And the guys that you all wanted, Imani, but even after he went off for 30 last night, people are like, see, Kenny should have got him. Well, how about this? Let's say we did sign Imani Bates. And then he goes ahead and he gets that gun charge. Who's to say that IARP is lenient on us as they are? They're like, look, they're still trying to do some funny business out there. So I'm okay with it. You know, the Dior Johnsons and the Courtney Ramies. Courtney didn't get in trouble, but Dior and Imani did. The NIL first guys. I trust Kenny to get the right people in here. What's up, Nate? What's up, Kennedy? It will never be said by the KP haters, but it's definitely a factor for sure. James says, I wanted Scotty D to get a look before Mac, but not sure he wanted it. All in with KP for at least two recruiting classes. We should win these last two games. Not if Malik's not healthy. But I agree, Rito. Levi's, whatever his name is, Wrangler, 502, Buttonfly, whatever the heck his name is going to get his bleep tore up by Louisville's defense. Average Honky says they missed definition targeting, launched, and head of the crown with the helmet. Yes. I understand hurt players want to play. Coaches make final decision. When you've been the starting quarterback of a franchise for 18 years, you're going to have a bigger say than most. Aaron says if you don't perform, you have to face the consequences, referring to refs, just as a normal person would have to deal with their jobs. Agree. They wrapped up Chris Bell and held him in the red zone. Absolutely, Anthony. Soft A rebounding cost us the game today. Why is Sydney starting? IARP pending ruling has an impact. It did. Brent says, who's KP referring to that was a longtime friend and was using dirty recruiting? I'm not going to talk about that. You trying to get me hemmed up and thrown in the ocean with some bricks tied to my ankles? Michelle says, actually, we don't know Imani personally or what he said or how he came off to KP. Look, we don't. And it's not fair to judge him when we don't know him. I do know he went in there and demanded money. It was like, hi, I'm Imani. How much money are you giving me? Like, that's not the type of player that he wants to recruit here. And I trust him. Fabian says, one thing I can tell you is KP is frustrated as blank. He's not used to not having talent. We talked about this the other night. There's probably only 5 players on this team that is a prototypical Louisville player. There's a lot of fill-in parts. At the end of the day, this is what KP was left by the former regime. He's trying to work. He's trying to do his best with what he has. Bates ended up at Eastern Michigan. Should tell everyone what they needed to know. Absolutely, Fabian. Chris says, how can people say Levitar might be the one? I don't know. I've not seen anything out of him that I would draft him in the top 100. But that's just me. Mike Murphy in the house. Hey, he was in the house earlier, but now he's in the house on the show. But let's get back to the football game. Or is that where we're at? Football? Yeah, I was very proud of the effort. Very proud of the the not quitting at any point, no matter how bad. They went up 3 touchdowns, and Jalen Mitchell was like, "Hold my sparkling water," and just ran down the field on him. And then, Brock did his thing too. So very, very happy with the football team. I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the season. I look forward to the next 3 games so I can see what kind of improvements that we're going to make. We've improved every game this season up until today. I feel like it was the first game we had a little bit of regression, but it was on the offensive side. It wasn't on the defensive side. I feel like our defense still played pretty good. Not as good as they have, but pretty good. Rio says, I believe we will win the next 2 games. Seriously, to me, it just depends on who's the starting quarterback. I think no way can and y'all know that I like Brock. What's up, Nick? Brock's a friend and everything, but there's no way that I believe that he can beat that team down the road. It's iffy. Like, we had to win these last 3 games. Malik has to be the starting quarterback. He just has to be. Dabo should be sued for encouraging injuries to player by egging on Clemson fans to storm the field. Sat should call the refs out post-game. It's getting ridiculous. Well, yeah, then he'll get fined and stuff like that. Boston College beat NC State tonight. Well, there you go. Maybe we do have a chance. Clemson goes on the field for every home game. Yeah, they meet at the paw after every game, win or loss. Not sure if Imani is that big of a difference maker, honestly, for this squad. I don't know, man. You got another guard out there that can score 30 every rip. I think that'd be a big difference maker. Really need another guard that facilitates. L is awesome, but favors scoring over dishing. They're working. That's the thing about it. They're working on this. KP has been so transparent with you all. He told you it'd get worse before it got better. He's told y'all they are working on things every day. This is a work in progress. He's told y'all we were behind. At ACC Media Day, he told everybody, we're about 2 months behind where I wanted to be. Well, what do you think? What do you think that means? What do you think that means if we're behind? Should we ever lose to a Division II team? No. Should we ever lose to Wright State or Bellarmine? No. But these kids are learning to play together. I have no idea what is going on with Sidney Curry. I feel like he played pretty good today. He got started in the second half. First half, he kind of looked like the first game. Yes, Steve, we know about the meeting of the paw. It's every single game. It's a running joke. So what's the chances Malik starts the next 2 games? Y'all have to get back to me on that, because if you hurt his shoulder on top of his hand, he's not playing next week. I mean, unless they varsity blues him and give him, like, wasn't it varsity blues where they get
Bud Kilmer. Yeah.
What is the deal with the freshman QB? Is he hurt or what? Chris, sure. It's or what. I don't want to get myself in trouble over that. Brandon says, do you think Sat's job is safe? I do. I do think that if Malik doesn't play, the last 3 games, his job's safe because it gives him well, look, I couldn't win the last 3 games. My 12th year senior quarterback is not here. So I think that gives him a little bit of leeway. I think his job is safe. Brandon said, oh, sorry. All the goodwill over the past month will disappear with 3 losses to close the season. Look, for some people it will. For the microwave society maniacal tweeters out there that are just every play completion. Oh yeah, we're awesome. Incompletion. We suck. Like it's every play. They live on the edge. Well, the announcer said that Malik's throwing hand was injured. Now they're saying the shoulder's injured. Those 2 injuries almost mean no shot. Right, exactly. That's why. But I don't know which one it is. I'm waiting for an email from the university. I'll take an ice cream sundae. Will you stop, Brent? James says, why did we not see football in the backfield with Evans or Jordan very much after the touchdown run? Might help them get through the line. I don't know what the offensive philosophy is, James. I really don't. I'd like to sit here and be like, well, it's because of this and that. I don't know. I don't know why our offense is sputtering. I don't know because we have the pieces there. So I don't know. Steve says Sydney does not demand a post up or ball. I thought he would after he scored, but no. Brent says for rummage it will. Okay. Hi, Steve. The guards can do better at getting Curry some touches. Yes. So once we get to basketball, we'll talk about all that nice stuff. But to wrap football up real quick on a nice little bow, heck of a gutsy effort. Hate that we didn't get the result we wanted. We have to see whether or not Malik plays. I'm not going to make any predictions for the next couple of games till we find out what's going on there. So, take my hat tip to the football team, the defense. Y'all are still killing it, leading the entire country in takeaways. And you were able to. Should have had one more tonight. Y'all just balling against Clemson. I know we could have done better, but it is what it is. The game's over. 34-16 Clemson was the final score. And did you see Madden Sanker making fun of Kentucky favorite already? Chris, look, you about just okay. So you're going to open up my between the topic is fans on Twitter, and y'all can do whatever you want to. I'm never going to be the one to tell y'all how to act on Twitter. That being said, the second that they lost in football, or the second we lost in basketball, and they were making fun of us, they lost in football, and then y'all made fun of them, and then we lost. If you don't bring them up. And I'm not just a little stitious. I'm superstitious. And so things like that get to me. You know, maybe think it in your head and don't tweet it because that just gives them now we lost twice today. And they're like, well, at least we didn't lose twice. So it is what it is. The no call for offensive holding, Quincy Riley would have had them 3rd and 20 on the third. Yeah, absolutely. Game changer. Brandon says, I feel like if a coach up the road wins the Big Ten, that changes things. Brandon. Currently in the driver's seat in the big what? Brandon.
We know who Bring Brom home is. We found him.
Yeah, we know who Bring Brom home is. It's Brandon. Chris says, where is the big ticket Curry? It looks like honestly, I've had probably about 50 people hit me up today and say, like, is there something going on behind the scenes with Sydney? And I don't know that. I actually have had no communication with him since the exhibition season started. I think he's focused. He normally would message with me a couple times a week, and then he just stopped. So I don't know. Never badger the other teams. Brings bad luck. I feel like that's the way I was raised, Aaron. Chris says, minute Bates bailed. I knew we were done. I don't think we're done. I just think it's going to take us till January to get things rolling. He said we were a couple months behind. This November, December. January will be a well-oiled machine. I mean, Coach Crum's teams did that sometime. Coach P, a lot. So I don't think we're done. Trying to talk Card fans off the ledge after 2 1-point losses in less than a second. Yep. Losing to Vandy should count as 2 losses. Absolutely. Aaron says it takes time, guys. I fully believe that too. So let's get to the basketball game. And again, we weren't going to do a very long show tonight. I will stay on here as long as y'all want me to, because I do appreciate y'all tuning in and letting us get this out of the way early. Rito says, oh, well, is KP done with the 23 class? He can't be, right? No, he's not done. We're still going pretty hard after Isaiah Miranda. I believe we're in the driver's seat there. I think it's us. I know it's us college-wise. I think he's still wanting to try out for the do the little NBA. What's it called, Shawn?
Just test the waters, I think.
Yeah, but assessments. He wants to do the NBA assessments.
Yeah.
And then there's a kid I've been telling y'all about. I've been alluding to that is trying to reclassify. He's on his way here from another country, and he's a flat out baller. I don't know that we're going to think as far as active recruiting. I think we're probably going to actively recruit 2 or 3 people. I think our biggest recruiting is going to be after the season with the transfer portal people. And then our next class is going to be the one that y'all have all been clamoring for, the 5-star at every position. I really do. He needs to use his family, WWW, and get DJ and AJ. We're not getting DJ, Steve. If you've listened to my show at all, if you've listened to this show, not my show, it's our show, we've been out of the running for DJ for about 7 weeks. We're so far out of the running for DJ that Ramon's finally changing his pick from Louisville to Kentucky. And he don't never change his picks. I mean, like Vandy lost 23 straight conference games. Basically means they're FCS team. All right, I got you. Is it the kid from France? It might be. James says, needs some more post-entry drills. Geez, ball fake occasionally, bad angles. Grew up with a basketball coach. You can fix stuff like this. Get back in the gym and work. Absolutely. And I did like what I saw today over what I saw against Bellarmine. We didn't jack up 157 threes. We did get it into the post. Brandon and Jalen were deucing it up. Mike James is just proven to be every bit of the player we all hoped and thought he could be. Ellis is just like he's putting the whole team on his back, and he's working too hard. And he knows it. Like we had a conversation probably about an hour after the game, and he just wants this team to win. He's trying to be a leader. He knows the turnovers are bad, but he's trying to work on those. So, yeah, DJ's long gone. Only thing about the basketball game I didn't understand is why we didn't foul in their last possession and we only had 14 fouls. Let's talk about that. I don't know. The second that L lost track of that ball, he should have fouled. Losing to Wright State counts as 5 losses. They're in the NCAA tournament every few years. I don't think that counts as 5 losses. I think losing to Bellarmine, as far as from a traditional standpoint, is worse than losing to Wright State. I mean, we were 4-0 against them. Now we're 4-1. So we'll see. Roderick KP had a lot of WTF emotions on the sideline. He really did. I can't wait to see what we do in Maui. We are over. It's going to be tough. We're overmatched, but I have a feeling we'll bring another level. I think so too. And I think we will get the Miranda kid. Need Withers to be the alpha, and James disappeared late in the game. I don't know about when someone hits a fadeaway on 2 guys. I mean, what can you do? KP could have drawn the foul, but man, that's a hard shot to like that. I don't know how you play better defense on that last shot of the game. It was perfect defense. It was just one of them wild and wacky shots that went in. And here we are, 0-2 by a total margin of 2 points. It's ridiculous. KP said he had confidence in the team to stop them with defense instead of fouling them. Yeah, I heard that. That shot, though, man. Like Shawn, just imagine Shawn hitting a shot over me out there. One out of every 10. I did once
hit a shot, a 3-pointer over a 7-footer. Guy came flying out at me and somehow went in. I don't know how. The pickup game.
Did you unplug his PlayStation controller?
No, seriously. It was at Portland Christian. I'll never forget it because I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, there's no way my shot's going to get blocked right back in my face. And did
Portland Christian?
Yeah, Portland Christian School.
Shout out to Portland Christian.
Portland, Kentucky. Down Portland.
Yeah, no, their new head basketball coach, pretty good friends.
No.
Shout out to Terrence Farley. Did you not know he was their new head basketball coach?
I did not know that. No.
What do you do now? Just got to work on little things. Cardinals equal doo-doo. Shut up, Matt. You IU fan. That's a family member. They've been messing with us all week in a fun way. You're doo-doo. Matthew Doo-Dooson. Chris says pure shot for real. Yeah, it was. I mean, just nothing would have stopped that. Maybe it was bad luck. Sometimes it does happen. Yes, this game was worse than Bellarmine because they blew a 10-point lead. Yeah, but look, this game really changed on that. Who was it that JJ Traynor, I think. Y'all can correct me. Went up and clean blocked. Was it Kamari maybe?
No, it was Kamari. I believe it was
Kamari. That's what I just said.
Yeah.
If Kamari went up and blocked a shot that was clean block, and they caught a foul on it, and we just lost it from that point forward. They went on a big run because of that, and it was awful. So
this team's got to learn to keep their emotions in check and play smart, because they get over emotional and then they'll just make dumbfounding decisions, and you can't win if you're not playing smart. The effort I thought was there, but the mental aspect of the game was not. Especially
I went ahead and put a disclaimer at the bottom of the screen for you all that are interested in helping us get Shawn a date. If you know a female that is between 28 and 38 years old, not a blow-up doll that is single, please help us get Shawn a date. Sorry, Shawn. Not really. Getting tired of the showboating after a made shot. He had a hand in his back. It was a foul. No, I watched the replay like 12 times. There was no foul on that play. L's turnovers were pretty bad, but like I said, I talked. He's just trying to make something happen. Michelle says, I totally agree with KP and the confidence things. They missed so many bunnies. Both games, they missed so many bunnies.
And it messes with them every time. Every time.
They still looked better today than they looked against Bellarmine. There were positives that came out of today.
Kamari at least kept trying to shoot. I didn't see, because against Bellarmine, he missed a 3, and I saw his head go down, his shoulder slump, and I'm like, oh. And sure enough, he was kind of out of the rest of the game. This time, I'm pretty sure he made a play right at it. It might have been that block, like not long after he missed a open 3, I believe it was. So there's improvement. There's small improvements you see, definitely.
Listen, Rito's got the thing that bothers me the most, too. The lack of blocking out is killing me.
God.
You've got so many people down there just looking around, waiting for the rebound, and the other teams are just collecting on us.
Rebounding.
Like Shawn could even grab a rebound over these guys the way that they're just sitting there lackluster in the lane. They looked better today. I really just think that last play was good defense, better off. Yeah, for sure. Nick says, learning how to win. Come January, February, if this is hold on, sorry. It didn't pop up on my one screen. Oh, yeah, it did. Come January, February, this team will see it all and be 100% better if they stay focused, which is what I said earlier. They look better today. I really just think, okay, I already read that one. Michelle says they've looked better each game. Has Sydney been engaged in the first half, it would have been a different outcome. I still think that those blown calls against us, and I hate to be we got screwed in football because of officiating and screwed in basketball because of officiating. But I killed our momentum. The guys will get it because at some point they'll get tired of getting beat. Any word on Elliot Cadeau? Yeah, here's my word for him. Not going to get him. Yes, blocking in the back doors. Yes, BC beat NC State. I mean, we got a shot then, y'all. But they're not defending for the whole possession. Gets to Michelle. That too. They play so good for like the first 15 seconds or the last 15 seconds, and it's just like something happens, and it's the effort's just. There's been no sense of urgency. My guy I grew up with, Derek Anderson, y'all know who he is. He played for Ohio State for a couple of years, and he does a lot of film breakdown. And he did film breakdown after the Bellarmine game. Very respectful. I mean, he's not going to come at us unless we come at him because, he did play for the other blue school over there. But and he shot with Carter Knox. I feel good with Carter Knox and Carter Bryant. I think Coach Kennedy Payne has been teaching these guys the game more than playing the team. No, absolutely. And we talked about that earlier, Fred. Great point. I told that to Shawn. I said, a lot of these people just don't understand. This is teaching time for Kenny. I know y'all want the wins, and I know y'all want the 5 stars, and I do too. But he's trying to teach these kids how to play basketball together and how to play as a team and how to cover up the deficiencies at some positions. So, sure. Mercy Miller, is he still committed to Houston? Nick, as far as I know, he's still committed to Houston. But yeah, I mean, I saw better stuff from the basketball team today. It was still a loss. Listen, if I didn't trust Kenny, I would have been this whole time like, y'all, he ain't the one. He ain't the one. He is the one. Y'all are just going to have to be patient. And I know most of the people in my chat room are patient people. As our O-line degressed, or how do you feel? Let me pin that on the bottom there. I know a lot of my people are the patient kind, but for those of y'all out there listening to this and ready to fire KP, regardless of your reason, whether he didn't have enough experience, you wanted a white person, whatever the reason may be, have faith. Let him play this long. This is going to get worse before it gets better. I need you. That was his statement. Be there. Be there for him. Be there with him. He's trying to teach these guys how to play together. Like Shawn said, he's working on their mental attitude. Absolutely, Chris. James says, I'm a KP fan, but man, dude, call for a foul. We had 2 left. KP answer after the game was garbage. It's called strategy. Don't let their best player dribble for 6 seconds and pick on Hatfield. I definitely respect your answer to that. I do feel like, though, his answer was genuine. He thought that we could play defense on them and keep he didn't want to risk giving up an and one. He wanted us to play defense, and the guy hit an out-of-this-world shot over Brandon. Like, let's not act like he just – no, I'm just saying, Jeff, I'm just saying that is the reason some of these people don't like KP because he's not Caucasian. That's just the way it is. Like, Michelle said Hersey. Oh, yeah, Hersey impressed me too today. I think he will get it together quickly. In the first half, Hersey kind of was the glue that pulled everything together. Yeah, it is funny, but it's definitely true for some people. I wasn't trying to be funny. I'm just saying there are some people out there that don't want him because he's not Caucasian. And that every time – and whether – look, let's even put it this way really quick. Even if you're not a person that's like that and you agree with the people that are, it appears like you're one of those people. Jeremy, I truly believe this team needs to learn how to play. And Roderick, absolutely, and that's what he's teaching them. As you saw in the exhibition games, he made a bunch of erratic substitutions, try to get different players on the court to see how they play. They've been playing against each other for a couple of months. He's trying to get them real-time on-the-job learning here. So I agree with you. I really feel like he's trying to teach them how to play. And to address James, I really feel like he thought the defense could stop him. Fabian says, how does a 5-foot point guard get a shot over a 6'10" guy? I don't think he was just 5 feet tall, Fabian. Rodder, I agree. Yeah. Look, I hit a shot. Shawn talks about the imaginary shot he hit on the PlayStation, but me, my brother, Lavelle Boyd, he used to play football here, and my guy Fred Tisdale, we went and played in this tournament when I was in college up in Covington every year at Thomas More. And I had not at that point attempted a three-pointer in our tournament play. And I'm chasing down a ball that's about to go out of bounds. I turn around, I gather it, I step up, and I shoot it from about 40 feet as this 6'10" dude's running right towards me with his hand up. I hit the shot. I get fouled. And it's just as the way that Marcus would say, it just bees like that sometimes. It is what it is. Defense should have been able to stop them. Absolutely. Last shot kid was a baller for sure. Foul up one is dangerous. All the dude had to do was see you coming and chuck it. It would go to the line for two. I know, James. I mean, that is one way to do it, but he thought he was, he liked his way. Jeremy, do you think Sydney's issue is more physical or mental? I think it would be reckless for me to assume he was having some issues mentally.
I don't think it's like anything like that. I think it's more just he's trying to figure out his role on the team.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't want to speculate on that because first off, I know him. He could be watching this. I don't want to say anything negative, but I would say I don't think it's physical. Let's just put it that way. Anthony says, how's Ari and Fabio going to get better by sitting on the bench? They got to earn their time in practice, and apparently they're not earning their time. Jeff says that is the thing I noticed. What's up, Barry? What's up, TJ? That 5-foot player scored almost 40 last game. Yeah. It literally really just be like that sometimes, for sure. Thing I noticed, not putting hands up on shots. That first game I noticed that. This game I felt like they did a lot better with that. So who knows? All I know is that I want to see the same kind of improvement with this basketball team over the next 4 weeks as I saw with the football team their second 4 weeks of the season. It's not over. You got these people that, the season's it's done. We're 0-2. We lost 2 bye games. Okay, well, we'll get it. And if we don't, listen, let me get a drink of water real quick, Shawn. Not the same stuff that Marcus has on his show, which is normally around 11 o'clock. So make sure you tune into his after mine. We may not have a very good season this year in basketball. KP has got to get his own personnel in here. Again, there's 4 or 5 guys that deserve to be here on this team right now. The rest of them are people that were left here that KP had to keep. And I know a lot of people would be like, well, why didn't he keep Dre Davis? Well, because KP was not going to take his brother. So Dre decided to leave. He wasn't pushed out like a lot of people said. He decided, let me get back caught up here. He just decided not to come. He didn't get pushed out. Wheezy Wave says, why wait so late to press? Feel like we should have broken that out earlier in the game. I agree. Michelle says mental in his own head, so to speak, the look on his face during the games. Makes me sad, the mother in me. Yeah, no, I knew what you meant. I just feel like there's something going on, and I don't want to speculate on it because I don't know what it is. Brandon says, I think L puts himself into bad switches and then doesn't get after the DE to make up for it. I think L's just trying to do everything because he feels like this whole team is on his shoulders. And thankfully, Jalen and Mike James have been there to kind of help him out a little bit, amongst others, but those two really stood out the most. Steve said we've lost 2 games against more white boys on the floor than we'll see the rest of the year. Was anyone else screaming Mike James get off the rim? I was. Michelle was. Average hockey. I would like to hear the story behind Zan getting into the game before Fabio. Is Fabio really that bad in practice? That's a great question because I haven't seen anything to tell me that he's better than Fabio. But he's gotten to the game more. Curry wants the ball, reward the big man, get him involved. But he spent the whole Bellarmine game just down there. He didn't want the ball. This game, he looked like he wanted it, and they got him the ball more. The bigs need to be able to handle the passes better, for sure. Let Hertzy handle more, for sure. Okay, Aaron, has our O-line degressed, or how do you feel? I don't feel like our O-line is degressed. I feel like we played the best defensive line in the city, in the conference tonight, and it showed. We're not as close as we thought we were. We're closer. This game would have been 49-0 shutout 2 years ago. So we're inching closer. It's just very, very slowly. James says fundamentally sound white boys, LOL. Yeah, we're not very fundamentally sound, no matter if we're white, black, brown, red, green, purple, rainbow. We've not handled fundamentals very well so far. Weezy says, would it be right for us to bring L off the ball and let Hersey run the point more? That's an interesting idea. Hersey will probably get more tick. We will improve. For sure, just patience is what I'm trying to preach to you all. Be patient. This is going to take some time. We may be in for a 20-10 year this year. We may not make the tournament. I know that doesn't make y'all happy, but I'm of the sound mind that I think we're going to turn this around in the second half of the season. But y'all just have to be patient. Let him get his dudes in here. Let him get out there and recruit with no cloud, and things will be fine. Denzan only played 2 minutes. Don't really see anything significant about that. KP is shortening the bench, so you got to earn it. I don't. Yeah, for sure. Hersey and L worked. Weezy, I liked L and Hersey in there together. I did too. Blank Troll joked about basketball. I said Seton Hall beat St. Pete. How did they do that? Rito said the second squad KP brought in was bringing the energy, and they did. That's what allowed us to go on that run. They set up our starters to go on a big 10 point to a 10-point lead. And we were able to, take that back and it just, if you go back and watch the last 5 minutes of this game, and I don't want you to do that because it's so painful. We literally just made bad decisions going down the stretch. That's really what it comes down to. Shows that Hersey is getting better, Michelle says. Yes, I agree with that. Did y'all see KP slam the choke? I did see him slam the clipboard at a time. And I also saw him right before the half turn to the camera and be like, oh, fudge. But he didn't say fudge. KP wants Hersey to push Fabio, and I feel Fabio hasn't got there yet. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Uncle Larry in the house. What's up, Uncle Larry? But yeah, that's where we're sitting at. A day of Cardinal disappointment to an extent. We took 2 losses today. It's not going to be like that every week. And me, I try to find the silver lining. As long as y'all are in here, y'all are breathing, y'all are still tuning into the shows, then I'm happy. These sporting events aren't real life like a bunch of the people on Twitter trying to make it seem like, you don't take our sports seriously because you don't yell at them. No, I was just raised with some common sense, and I know that if I tweet stuff at the team, that recruits are going to see it. And I know that recruits have seen some of the stuff because it's brought to my attention that some of our recruits kind of shied away because of the behavior on social media. So let's not do that anymore. As much as KP smiles, it scared me to see his mean. I know I've noticed that a lot today. I was like, I bet you they ain't complaining about him smiling now. Roderick said turnover hurt us. Yep. Can't blame KP. Jeff says for this game, we just broke down mentally. Like we said, we got to learn how to win. Miss Michelle says we forget how young Fabio is. Yes, he reclassified, so he should be a senior in high school this year. I had an issue with KP smiling, but I have a feeling it's actually a front to the media, and more than likely he is very intense. And I agree with you there because I've seen him, and it's true. Clemson was fighting
saw him tonight and on the sideline. Oh boy, he was
Bill
pissed.
Jones in the house. Collision course. Collision course. What's up, Bill? Rito says Mike James is a dude. Mike James is a dude. Jalen Withers is showing me flashes. Don't throw tomatoes at me. I'm seeing a lot of Earl Clark and Jalen Withers this season.
I can't disagree. I can't.
Good, because I didn't ask you to. Michelle says fans on Twitter trying to clown coaches' wives and players' mothers are disrespectful. Look, here's what I'll say about this. Y'all keep trying Miss Shayna. She can take care of herself. Like, after I saw the first person mess with her, I texted her and I said, hey, do you need me to hop on Twitter and regulate a little bit? She's like, oh, no, I got this. She ain't afraid. Yeah, Bill, it's been a long time, man. Collision course tailgate. Number 1 tailgate in the country. So KP haters will have an agenda. Yes, they will. James says, as long as young guys get better for next year and he adds talent next year is what I think is coming. We're on track for a rebuild. That's the thing. We just got to be patient, guys. I've said this multiple times tonight. Just be patient. It's not going to happen right away. The payoff will be glorious. Just trust me on that, okay? I know I've been wrong on a couple of these picks late, of these recruits. Like we had Caleb Foster all the way up until like Monday night, and then it was decided that he was going to go ahead and honor his commitment to do. So Michelle says, Shayna with all the smoke, and I love it. Yeah, she's the best. Are we still practicing for the games? I don't think. I do know we're doing our individual instructions on game days, so I don't know that we're practicing. Could be something KP could dial back. Oh, for sure. Brandon says, if we show improvement and flashes all year, I'll be happy with an NIT bid. Agree. Don't say that on Twitter, though, because then they'll be like, you don't have pride in your team. You accept mediocrity. None of these people would say these things to my face either, by the way. Brandon says, enjoy the process. Aaron says, attendance for final game, good or bad football. I think we have a pretty good turnout.
That would be good. Yeah.
I think it does depend on whether or not Malik plays, though.
I don't know. I'd still go. Even Malik doesn't play. I mean, if Boston College can beat NC State too, like they beat us, then why can't we? Why can't we beat them?
Right. Michelle Roderick says you're about it. Shayna don't need nobody's help. She will annihilate you. She's been asking me this whole week, hey, who are the cool people on Twitter? Who should I be? Who's joking around? Who should I be getting at? And I'm like, all right, I got you. It is what it is. Rito says, my Lord, why do people expect us to get the tourney this year? And we only won 12. I think we won 13, but I get the point. Michelle agrees with you. I guess because there's still a portion of this fan base that lives and breathes on those dirty message boards that spread the rumors, I guess, for lack of better words, that we were going to get KP, 105 stars will be here on day one, and we win every single game. That's spilled over onto Twitter, and I think it's just people's unrealistic expectations, Rito. I don't know. James says, Phoenix rising from the ashes, just have to deal with the ashes a little longer. Look, my knees have been ashy for a long time. I'm still good. Michelle says, sometimes you got to lose to win again. Preach. Jeff says, yes, our defense is solid. Just got to stop running shotgun all the time. I agree with you, but this is a run. This is 75% run heavy offense. We knew that when Sack got here. The days of, I'm shocked that T. Huddy gets as much love as he does, because it's like run, punt, run, pass, punt, run, pass, run, pass. So depends on the weather, and it hasn't been good all year. So I doubt it. I've been every game. The ones that show are allowed. Oh, the game, the crowd at the game. I think this Wright State loss will wake up the team. The Bellarmine loss should have woke them up. If we win 20 games, I'll be happy. Same here. Bill says we're going to be fine. Trusting KP and his coaches. Boom. Rito says, is it possible to be critical of KP without sounding like an all-out hater? It's a thin line, and you're either on one side or the other online, it seems. Look, absolutely, Rito, because – you can't be critical. I can get on Twitter right now and say, man, that loss sucked. Really, KP should have called that timeout. But we'll get better. We'll fix that. We'll get better next week. That's an acceptable answer. But you got people out there, and I won't name them by name because we all know who they are, that just criticize every single KP farts too loud. KP's coughs are too loud. KP's farts smell too bad. KP blinks too much. Like, just criticizing everything and then adding them on Twitter and just trashing them. Like, you can be critical, yes. And you can be critical without sounding like an all-out hater. But you've got to make sure you're not being an all-out hater. I mean, that's really the biggest thing about it. 20-win season puts us in the tournament, maybe, and would be incredible improvement. I don't think 20 puts us in the tournament, but I think 20 and then maybe a nice little run in the ACC tournament. Some people would have said we were Final Four bound if we blew out Bellarmine or Wright State. Yes, because we live in this crazy world now. We talk about this all the time. It's a result. What have you done for me lately? It's microwave based. It's right now. And yes, you're absolutely correct. Those same people that are pissing all over KP would be saying, oh, we're going to the Final Four if we would have blown out both of those teams for sure. Michelle said, shout out to her bonus nephew, Quincy Riley, who got the interception at the beginning of the game that they overturned with their janky referees. Uncle Larry says, I cringe every time we run the ball. So many injuries and guys out for weeks at a time. Jeff Leff says KP is still learning too. It's his first year coaching. And that's going to be somebody's, well, why did we get a first-year coach? We didn't get Kenny Payne because of what he could do on the court, as silly as that sounds. We got Kenny Payne for what he can help do off the court, which is heal this community. Y'all aren't allowing that to happen. When I say y'all, I don't mean my fine people that are listening. I just mean that in general. Like, y'all are not allowing that to happen. And yes, we did get him because he was a great recruiter for on-the-court issues. And he has coached sparingly. But, I he's learning too, like you said. He's learning, and I think we'll be just fine. Brandon says, is tweeting the Bellarmine-Moorhead State game score as we speak. Cody says, seems like such an opportunist. Chris says, we get to use the late touchdown to Clemson like Lexington State did at Georgia, right? Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Michelle says, I'm muted, and they're both grumpy old men who need some ... Listen, Michelle, you might be the one who have to help me out with Shawn. He's looking for a fine young honey. He is, don't tell nobody else, but he is a 41-year-old virgin. And no, you're not 41 yet, are you?
At least 40. Yeah, don't make
40,
it old.
40. He's not 41 yet.
Rough enough.
Yeah, I'm not going to name them because, like, for me, it doesn't benefit me. It benefits them more for me to name them than it does for them. So I just don't. I don't want any kind of, like, I can handle my own, but I don't want any unnecessary beef going. Like, he's just like I handle things the way I handle them. And I don't like when people tell me not to. He's handling things stupidly, and he don't want people to tell him how to do his. So I'll respect that, I guess. Average Honky says, I know it's hard for some Card fans to believe, but to become a good basketball coach, you'll have to take some bumps in the beginning. Absolutely. And I appreciate all you all for jumping on here tonight. It's all good. We can say it. You don't have to. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it. Again, make sure when you're talking about the show on social media, like I've seen a whole lot of time, man, people will be like, man, I love all the shows here in town that support KP. You got, they'll tag Marcus and Steve, and then they'll tag me, but they won't tag Cardinal Sports Zone. Like, help us get the word out. Like, we're not hurting for listeners or anything, but it's like we want to get that, that notice for the hard work we're doing too, especially if you can't help out in other ways. Stay single. Shawn says, Chris, no, don't do that. Brandon says, man, even Rick's first season was up and down. Absolutely. FHF says, get it through your delusional head, you fat F. Louisville is trash, and you will always be trash. Well, how about this, FHF? I don't know who you are. I can give you my address, and I guarantee you won't come and say none of that to my face. Your mom's a hoe, you're a hoe, and I hope that your kids trip and fall down the street. Say something to me in my face. How about that? No, I ain't putting on the timeout. Your mom's a hoe. Okay. Michelle says, I don't know any women to match up, but if I run across one, I'll let you know. Absolutely. Anthony says it's a 4-step process. Lose big, lose close, win big. Yeah. Virginia football is the new Cheeks. Sorry, BC, we just grew apart. Steve says Andre McGee should have hooked Shawn up.
Son of a...
Rito says we've just been spoiled as a fan base with basketball over the years. There are some kids who have never even seen a good basketball team at Louisville. It's sad. Chris is laughing. Rito said chill. Michelle says Jeremy Tell don't come for him unless you send for him. Look, was that Pet 40? Said James. Oh man. Look, here's the thing, y'all. I love y'all, and I want to continue to do this, even all the way up until I'm old and gray, or I look like Shawn. And I'll tell you this much: all these message board warriors, all these Twitter warriors, all these YouTube warriors, say something to my face. You won't, because I will mop you. And you can't say nothing to me in print because I will clown you. The only reason I refrained from doing as much clowning as I could is because of these 3 letters right here, CSZ. It's my brand. I don't want to make it look bad, but I'll tell you this much. Say something. Yeah, cuss them all out. Life is short, cuss them all out now. All right, here, FHF. First off, your mom's your dad's your grandma's your girlfriend's your secret boyfriend's your kids are all and oh yeah, and go suck whatever's drawn on the side of Higgy's house tonight. Fabian says that was Pat Ford or Diener. No. Fabian, you're trying to get me in trouble, bro. Weezy says, need to get you a wrench in this chat. Jeremy should see my girlfriend's face when she heard you going off. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. I could be my own wrench, though, because that's literally that's the first time second time I've had to block somebody from the chat in the whole year we've been doing this. So that goatee is a little gray, Jeremy. Yes, because I've been married for 23 years I've been married.
Yeah, was that Joey back?
Yeah, Joey's taking a nap in the back while we're doing the show.
I love they just chimed in to go 23 years.
Honky, yes. Have them eat a disc, that's for sure. Man, Honky goes way back with us. I appreciate that. Brendan says, I got to give Blank credit for one thing. He takes the criticism and doesn't block me. No, he hops in your DMs and says, man, that's a great show we're putting on, isn't it? Never mind. I didn't say that. Petty Jeremy is my favorite Jeremy. That's actual real life Jeremy. Real life Jeremy. I'm not going to let you talk to me any slick kind of way. We can either get together, we can either get along like we do now, or you can say something sideways and you can end up on your side. It's just that simple. Brandon thought it was funny. Jeff says the other coaches people wanted here took a few years to get good too. Absolutely. Just got to 28 years a couple days ago. Bit great myself. Look, not only have I been married for 23 years, I've got 3 nieces who they're starting to get grown now because I don't see them as much, that are 17, 16, and 15 that have driven me absolutely crazy over the last 3 years. So, yes, I've got a little bit more gray. I'm going to have to start using some of that touch-up spray paint or whatever it is and wash that gray right out. Michelle said, shut up. Michelle said, Rashawn doesn't – oh, Jesus. You made me say his name. The man who may not be named doesn't block. He just subtweets. Okay. Come on, y'all. 32 years for me, and my beard has a lot of gray. Yeah, there you go. All right, guys. We got a little bit off track here. It is what it is. The fact is FHF, that stands for fat-headed freak. You fat-headed. That's what it stands for. The reason why I should not have let that bother me is because he wouldn't A, say it to my face, or B, put it to me from an actual account. He got on YouTube, mocked up a mock account, and then said something like that. And then it tried to attack my looks. You ain't got to look. I had to turn my champion. I don't know if y'all can see it underneath my ear. But my championship belt, I had to flip over from a W to an M for the first time in 5 weeks after the game today. We're now officially mid until we win next week, and then I can turn back over to a W. Michelle says, I'm 15 years in and I have grade 2. Don't put it all on the wives. Michelle, you don't know my wife. She's probably watching, waiting for me. I'm supposed to be talking to her right now. I said, hey, I'll get on and do like a 30-minute show, and then I'll call you right back. And I didn't. So I have to watch what I'm going to say. I'll cook them, man. I'll throw the salt in there, the pepper, the hot sauce. I'm throwing in the Frank's hot sauce, too, because I put that on everything. Those little seasoning packs from Papa John's, I just mix it all in a pie. I'll cook them. I really will. Meet them around the corner of F around and find out. They won't, though. That's why they say stuff. Jeremy's 6'5" kids. I don't have any kids. I'm hoping soon I have kids. Don't have kids. We're going to go the adoption route. But if I had genetic kids, my kids would be about 7 feet tall. Roderick says his grade tells everybody I've been there and done that. Absolutely. Look, y'all, I appreciate everything. I appreciate y'all. We've had a good time tonight. I'm going to go ahead and you all send me your final questions and let me cold close the show. We're gonna release this tomorrow because it's our normal show day is Sunday. So y'all were able to get a sneak peek of the new show in advance. Shout out to all of our fine sponsors, though: Fitness Market, Check in the Back Barbecue, Four Peg Smokehouse and Bar, Derby City Lawn and Landscaping, and we're working on more. For sponsorship opportunities with us, just get in touch with one of us on Twitter, Facebook, or even during the show. We'll get back with you. Shoot us an email, and we could talk. We could talk them top dollars for sure on social media. You can find everywhere that we're at on social media underneath Shawn's forest beard. I don't know what you call that. The outdoorsman cut he has. And you can find how you can support us monetarily underneath my gray goatee. You can find this podcast on all the podcast avenues, over 125 in all, including Apple, iTunes, Buzzsprout, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google, Amazon, and iHeart. Hit subscribe, follow, shadow, stalk, like, whatever it is. Hit those now. You'll be notified as soon as we go live, especially if you're following us on YouTube. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. You'll get a notification every time we go on the show. The show goes live. Facebook as well. I don't know if you can do that on Twitter or not, but I'll just say you can. If you haven't listened to all the prior episodes of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast, go back and check them all out. Go to cardinalsportszone.com, the place it all began. Hit the podcast tab, hit the drop-down menu, hit CSZ Podcast. Check out all of our exclusives and photo galleries there as well. We probably have 3 of the best photographers in the city at one site, and we're so blessed and appreciate them being here. Shout out to everybody that's out there liking and sharing the podcast. We love and appreciate y'all too. Shout out to our guys Marcus Maven and Steve Rummage doing the Lord's work on ESPN 93.9 The Ville, Monday through Friday from 10 to noon. Higgy's side of Higgy's house still has a big old penis on the side of it, I think. And, oh, yeah, in December, we're going to have Earl Clark on the show and Mike Rutherford, a supersized show. Everybody knows about Mike's love for Earl Clark, and as soon as Earl told me he was going to do it, I reached out to Mike, and that'll probably be a Thursday show, so the rest of y'all don't embarrass me. I'm just kidding. Shawn, any last thoughts or comments or anything before we go back to the chat line to finish up? And we will get to the we will get to the rest of the text line because I appreciate them.
My only thoughts are football. I'm not upset with what happened because we went in kind of undermanned, to be honest. And the fact that we were able to hang in there for that long against, 14 players on either side, because I'm counting the refs or how many refs there are, whatever. And still we're able to hang in there for as long as we did was amazing. And basketball, listen, there are going to be people that they're going to say, no, I wanted a guy with more experience or a guy that's had a head coaching, record that I can look at and go, oh, he's made the Final Four. Here's the thing. No matter who it would have been, they would have had to come in here and they would have had to deal with the same exact problem that KP had to deal with. And that is that cloud was hanging over us and we did not know what was going to happen to IARP just because of all the other cases. Because we were unique in that we already had 2 strikes against us. We were on probation when it happened. So we had no idea. We couldn't realistically look at a kid and go, we're going to be fine. We're not going to get a ban. We're going to be fine. We couldn't realistically do that. So in the end, he's working with a guy.
I just asked you if you had a last word, not a last paragraph.
In the end, where we're at, we'll be all right. It's going to be okay. He's getting, they're starting to learn. You can see little things starting to change the last 2 games even through the exhibitions. So just stick with it. And I think in the end, we're going to be an all right team by the end of the year.
Average Honky, I agree with you. Those seasoning packs from Papa John's are the real deal. That's why I always order an extra one whenever I do eat pizza, so that way I can throw it on anything I'm cooking at any time. Michelle says kids are overrated. I still want them. Chris says collar them up at the 50 like Bobby P. Absolutely. No ish. I have no problem with that. I grew up on the other side I didn't grow up in Fairdale. That's where all the racists lived. I grew up on the other side of the bridge where you learned how to fight. And I think me and my brother and one other kid were the only 3 white kids to grow up in that neighborhood that weren't, just troublemakers. So, yeah, me and Joey, we were raised different. Do I think TJ Robinson could reclass? Haven't heard anything about that. Great show, y'all, says Rito. Thank you. That means a lot, especially since Shawn was on here with me. Roderick says, hit that like button. Steve says, great show as always. Michelle says, great show. Good night. Hope for some more snow soon. No. Great show, guys. Thanks. Good night to all. Even Pad 40. Stop it. Oh, and shout out to, I'm glad you mentioned Larry. I was texting with Larry before the game and did not know he was doing the television coverage. And then I saw it and I was like, bro, I'm proud of you. You done came from Otis's pimp boot all the way to being on the coverage of the game on the ACC network. Yeah, he did good. I told him, and like literally, he's texting me 5 minutes before they go on live, and that's when I found out he was doing the game. I was like, bro, just hit me up later. We'll be good. We'll be good. You mean Kelvin Sampson wouldn't have us in the top 5 right now? No, Brandon. Nate Oates wouldn't. None of those guys. Nobody wins at Clemson. Now I see why you can't get lady talks all night. Just kidding, Shawn. Jesus. Hey, come on, man. Fairdale ain't so bad. All right, it is, but still my home. Hey, I grew up over there, and it's not as bad anymore. But when I was growing up, my friends weren't allowed to go to Fairdale because they would shoot. We got shot at a couple of times. Like, this is how bad it was. Whenever we were heading out somewhere and we had to pass through Fairdale, I had to drive, and they would duck down in the car. And then it was so, like, we were so watched that as we were driving back over the bridge there to get to New Cut and Outer Loop, we had gunshots fired at us a couple times. It was like somebody called and was like, hey, Jeremy's got those kids with him again. Bang, bang. But I love that area. It's just whatever. Larry did a great job. He did. Good night, my dude, says Brandon. All right, let's get this done, Shawn. You can write out the piece. We'll get this published tomorrow. You can even wait till tomorrow. Just remind me. I had a bad day. This made it a lot better. Y'all made it a lot better. We appreciate you all. Thanks again for y'all's love and support. We love you all right back. And until next time, this has been the Cardinal Sports Zone Podcast. Shout out to Rhea Ripley, my second wife. I talked to her the other day. She said she's coming to Louisville Monday night. So, see y'all at Monday Night Raw, by the way. If y'all are going to Monday Night Raw, I'll see y'all there. If you're not, then we'll talk to you Thursday night on the next episode of the show.